with yours truly, Leonard Gildarie. Monday to Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. Make your voices be heard. Call us, text us. Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. The Wake Up Guyana Show. Hello, dear. Good afternoon. Welcome once again to the Wake Up Guyana Show right here on Kaieteur Radio. I want to say good day to our people, our beautiful people across this great land of ours. It is January the 7th, 2021, and the year, it's already first week, the first week in 2021. What have you done? What have you put for yourself for this year that you would say that, I want to be a little better than last year, which was a horrendous year for some people. For other people, they would have taken some of the opportunities that would have arisen, and they would have made much out of it. So it was good business for some people. For a lot of people, it was very, very tough times, and the stories are coming out. It was a struggle. Did we do a little better than a lot of other countries across the Caribbean? How did they make out? How are they faring compared to us? We should be looking at that because COVID-19 pandemic has really done a number on our people right here in Guyana. So wherever you are, whatever it is that you're doing across this country, and if you join us from overseas, which I know several persons already locked on with us here, Bibi Shabir and a couple of others, right on listening all the way from Norway. I want to say good day to you people. It's I think even in across there, but they're still locked in every single day. Part of the conversation. How do we better things in Guyana? What are some of the issues affecting us? How could we not repeat some of the mistakes made in the past? What are some of the expectations of our leaders of this country? So it is January the 7th, 2021. Some of the big stories which we'll be looking at today, will be discussing, is, of course, last evening, the shooting up of the home of the Ponzi, alleged Ponzi schemers, the Cuban national, now a Guyanese national, married to a Guyanese woman, accused of robbing, defrauding thousands of Guyanese. His home, they say that he wasn't living there, in the east coast of Demerara area there, was shot up apparently by people who are angry that he can't return their money. And believe me, I have my own thoughts about that, but guess what? There's some people who believe that he set it up all himself. I'm not sure. I can't comment on that. But what we do know, that this Ponzi scheme allegations and the repayment of the people is not going to go away anytime soon. What I could tell you, it seems as if it's a bunch of very important people, very powerful people who would have been involved with it, and a lot of people benefit off it. I understand some politicians were involved with it as well. That's what we've been told, and so the people have been left high and dry. Yes, they did not pay attention and they got fooled. That's because we had some very unscrupulous pandits. Yes, you're going to get very angry with that. Pandits and pastors involved in recruiting people to make them spend or part with hard-earned money. Some of them borrowed. So they shut up the house last evening. But as usual, we want to get into things. Tomorrow, we're going to have a very important discussion as we bring things the curtain down. And I have some bad news to also give. And we will have to discuss that a little while too with regards to the show. Um, but what I could tell you is that there's some other things that we should be paying attention to. There's a statement coming out from MARAD. There's a Maritime Administration Department there, and they're talking about if you want to go in oil and gas training, how you should do it, and so making it very, very clear. So don't let anybody fool you. A lady is before the court now. Well, a lady. Well, I'm very respectful. My mom taught me that. Very respectful to women, and so a lady is before the court right now in Barbies for allegedly defrauding several persons, putting them through training, saying that they could use the certificates garnered from that to seek jobs in the oil and gas industry. While she's been placed on, I think, just on the $700,000 in bail on 17 charges. Be very careful out there, folks. Anybody come to you and they tell you they're gonna make money for you, find out whether it's something that's legit. Because if they could make money, why they make money for themselves? Why they want to use your money? You understand what I'm saying? Don't use your money. That's how scams happen. And there are a lot of people who go in the wrong place, promising people to make some fast money for them, and then they end up holding the short end of the stick. Even former policemen and so on who would be involved with this. A lot of scams and conmens out there just preying on poor people, and poor people, because of the desperation, you want to make some money, fall for it. Do not fall for it. Be very careful. You have money, hold on to it. Be very, very careful. It's better you set up a little chicken thing and mind some chicken, plant a little garden, but just don't do it. If it is legit, it's going to be advertised all over the place, and so you could have an opportunity to gauge for yourself, using the word gauge here, whether it is legit or not. Legit or not. Be very careful. Be very, very careful. As Guyanese people, we got to be very smart. We got to learn to be smart. When people come to us and they come with all nice words, sweet words, and they whisper to you and they soar you. You know what soaring is, Raj? You know what soaring is? Soaring is when you're trying to entice, you're trying to get the opposite sex or maybe the same sex over to your side because you have designs on that person. You would use all the best kind of words and things like that. So be very careful. Do not fall for those. I got to ask yourself what is it that you want and whether that's what you want. So let's go right into our favorite newspaper in Guyana, the Guyana's largest selling newspaper. It is January the 7th, 2021, and the headlines, you should pay attention. Vice President Jack Dio defends incentives given to oil companies. Pay attention to that because, when we see they being given, and then a lot of local companies complaining, by why aren't you not giving us the same kind of incentives? Chatham House Export says gas to shore project must be affordable, insists it cannot be seen as an end all. And so there's some reservations over this planned gas to shore project. Exxon is getting gas from what it's doing offshore Guyana there from those wells that they are producing oil from, but 100 miles offshore Guyana. And that gas, you either do two things with it. You can't inject all of it back into the wells that you're taking the oil from. You either flare it or you bring it onto shore. So if it's going to come to shore, is it better if you want to use it for energy purposes, meaning you're using it in some energy plant that is going to produce power for the people? Is it going to be cheaper for you to set up 20 wind turbines on the East Coast? Is it going to be cheaper to do maybe an Amila Falls or something? We have to be very careful that while we bring it sounds good. The story that Chatham House, this is one of the export bodies, they would have been paying attention, that they are warning. Let it be affordable, that it can't be something that's above board. Everything that you do, whether you buy a house, if you're buying a house and you're working for $80,000, you would not want your mortgage payments and your insurance payments to be more than maybe $25,000. And so you would buy something, but if you're working for $80,000 and you buy a house and it's going to be $80,000 that you pay in mortgage. Doesn't make sense to you? Doesn't make financial sense? It has to be feasible. You must have money left back to do other things. You have to eat, you have to travel, you have to put a little in the bank, you have to keep a little, for anything that goes wrong for a rainy day. President Trump blocked from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. But if you're looking and you listen, what's happening in the United States sounds all too familiar. with some things that happened here. His supporters there tried to get into Capitol Hill. Several persons arrested, and then they're looking for others too because breach of security there. For I think they trashed the Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi's office, and so many things has happened in there that is not doing well, does not speak well of the United States, which is supposed to be the beacon, which is supposed to be there as a poster child for other countries, democracies that want to be looking towards a country that is an example to the rest of the world. Peacemaker knocked out while attempting to fight. Well, careful with that when you part and fight, they turn on you too. Passengers hijack taxi at policeman corner. You know, Kaieteur News has a habit of doing this, finding the real nice headlines. And this is one that made me laugh. But it's a very serious story. Man is with his taxi working, and then they take it away from him. I'm glad that he's okay, but they're searching for the car. My thing is that they haven't found it as yet. Glad that you're okay, sir. But it is a very serious thing that it seems to have some praise, some predators rather, who are raising their heads again. And you know what happens to people like you. The police are going to catch you eventually, and they make an example. You're going to plaster your pictures right across the media houses in Guyana. So, God on brave, continue to pray on the poor people of Guyana who are doing the living honestly. What you're doing there is becoming a burden onto the people, and which is not, we got to call out these people. They want to steal, they want to destroy, they want to take away from you, and these are people probably owe the bank for the vehicle, or other people take a vehicle on terms, and you take it away. You're starving people, and if you take bread out of somebody's mouth, I don't have any sorrow for you whenever anything happens. 864 million in payment vouchers not presented for audit. Now, this is a story that has me very, very upset. 2019. Remember 2019, who was in government for 2019? And this is a story that goes on year after year after year. Well, the audit office of Guyana is a state auditors. You want to call them? Come and we talk about, people who are doing madness. Let me see. The Ministry of the Presidency, the Ministry of Public Security, Ministry of the Guyana, the Ministry of Security, the Guyana Defense Force. Guyana Defense Force. This is the army again. Now, let me tell you something. So the state auditor would come down to you, and they would look at these accounts and so on. And imagine when you're making payments, you have to prepare what you call a voucher, and then they would issue a check based on that voucher. It's okay, right? If you don't present that to the auditors, they're not going to be able to verify whether this payment was legit, or they just somebody just pull it and says, you know what, let's pay Leonard Gildarie $2 million, just like that. But there's no justification, there's no contract, they didn't tender for the work, and he just decides, somebody decided to pay. If you don't present those vouchers, you can't verify anything. 864 million in 2019 cannot be verified because the auditors, state auditors, were not presented with these vouchers. This is not, if this is not the height of disrespect, if this is not enough grounds for us to fire some people who are in office who are refusing to toe the line, then nothing is. And these are the people that we stand up and they defend, and we look up to them. They're having a nice life. They're driving the big fancy vehicles. Yes, let's talk about it. They're living in their air-conditioned houses and in the offices and everything, dine at fancy restaurants. These are the executives in government. If we're smart and if we frugal with our money, well, let's start thinking about what this money could do for our people. $25,000 cash COVID grant for every household. Do you know how much persons could be paid with that? So we got to be very careful. It's 24, 10, 4 is 40. I think it's 40. Let me see. 25, 4, 10 is 40. Every $1 million it's 40 persons, 40 families that could be given. And that could be given 25,000. So you look at 864. I want you to start thinking like that, because these are the things when they stand up there. 864 million. This is 864 million. I'm going to calculate it back there and tell you, but every million, it 864. I mean, I will look back at it. Bad at maths right now, but you get the idea. 864 million could do a lot for families, especially if you wanted to give it. And we're assuming that this money was stolen, because if you don't present it, why you didn't present it? You were the account officer that's in charge of these vouchers and everything. And if it's not there, well, then you're not doing a good job and you have no place there. I make no apologies about that. Gunmen open fire at home of Ponzi scheme operators. I'm not sure what the authorities are doing. People have been calling me, and Mr. Yuri Gonza, whatever your name is, you guys better do something and start paying the people. We tired of excuses. You knew what you were doing. The government didn't know. You weren't advertising it. Word of mouth on the street. Come do it something. It wasn't even falling under the jurisdiction of the authorities. All the banks, if you want to open a bank, you have to go through a whole bunch of processes. You came into the country, you decide to start a business and operating like a bank, a trading company, and says, I didn't know that we're gonna now regularize. By the time we catch ourselves, $4 billion, $4 billion were taken from the people. Is this high time that we jail somebody? Is this high time that we should, a couple lawyers are going to open their mouth and says, my client is innocent until proven guilty. You say that to the people who have lost their money, and there's a dragging of the foot by the authorities, it seems. What are some of the conclusions? What's happening here? $4 billion. I mean, I didn't know when this thing was happening. And had I known that it was so very popular, and everybody seems to know it except the authorities, and when they caught wind of it, they put out, I think it was a Securities Commission, they put out notices. They put out notices that this thing is not legit, and there was a lot of fight behind the scenes. Guess what? We've been told a couple of ministers, former ministers, was involved with this scheme. I don't want to call the names, but we know that you can't operate something like this in this country without having some protection. And a couple of big business people too would have lost out. Would have lost out. So we got to be very, very careful. Exxon caves into the investors' call for thorough environmental impact report. So, you know, I think we're going about this thing wrong again with Exxon. Exxon has shareholders. They're very careful about what they're doing. They're interested in the profits, but if it's something that everybody is unhappy about, you got to find some way that if Exxon management don't want to buckle, then you go to the shareholders. You got to find a way of doing that. I believe there's a strategy here. If Exxon believes they could take all the profit, make millions and give it to the shareholders, we as shareholders get nothing. Something is wrong in this country. Something is wrong with the way that we think in. So we go very quickly in our news. What some of the thing. This is a nice story here. Student in UG bomb threat matter walks free. You could recall this lady here, Miss Jafar Ali, Shaniza Jafar Ali. She was a UG student. She was on trial at the Sparna Magistrate Court, and before Magistrate Rochelle Liverpool. Um, uh, she made her lawyer, Lakshmi Rahamat, made a no case submission before the magistrate, and she says that look, there's not enough evidence, and the magistrate did rule that there's not enough evidence to convict this girl here. So she's walked free. So she did make some threats on Facebook and so on of burning and things like that. That's according to the allegations. So let's see what happens here. This is another interesting story here. Over 29,000 devices verified by GNBS, Guyana National Bureau of Standards, in 2020. And so why is this important? Remember, if you go to a shop and the people then weigh a pound of flour in front of you, there's some scales. If you see those blue scales, tell them you can't weigh those things on the blue scale and give it to me. I go into another shop. There are many shops that's springing up around the place now. They're not supposed to use those little blue scales with the dials and that. So if you're using the other weights, those scales that they use, and those red scales that go up and down and you use a weight in between, the GNBS is supposed to verify them to make sure that they calibrated properly. Last year, GNBS said they did over 29,000, and this is inclusive of, let me see what it is. This is inclusive of all the different scales and machines and so that has to be calibrated and so, and let me see what it says, electricity meter that they're in charge of to make sure that they are of the right spec. So when they put it on there, that it's not going too fast and so on, there's some things that they have to do. So they did Weybridge scale, so over 5,009 scales. They also did those pumps at the gas station. They would have done that as well, and some other things. So they've been going around the place. So this is very good. I'm glad that the GNBS has been stepping up with their work. The police are in the hunt for a suspect in the clothes vendor New Year's Day murder. Wanted for murder is Sean Jones. Sean Jones apparently shot his colleague vendor after they had an argument. I think the colleague vendor, this is Paul Anthony Smith, known as Blacker. Apparently they had an argument. Blacker pulled out the cutlass, and then I think there were some talks, and then he would try to walk away according to the reports. A shot rang out, and he fell to the ground. His the other vendor fled, and he's wanted by police now. So that is, I think, Guy Oil now. Remember those Guy Oil workers that struck? Well, they are, they just before Christmas, they would have done tools and says they are not working. But the negotiations has come, they are going to receive their disputed salary increase. I think those are the major stories that we have right now. Pick up your copy of the Guyana Kaieteur News paper right here around at the vendors, and you can read it online, Kaieteur News online as well. And if you're online as well and you want to listen to the radio, it's right on that website there, Kaieteur News online, and there's a button, an icon there you could press, and you could hear Kaieteur News. Isn't that a good thing? So today happens. I did say it's just about 1:25. Do we have a break today? We're gonna run right on according to the guys at the control. Let's talk to our people today. You know what? Start sending us those messages. 622 622 Send us those WhatsApp messages. 2267453. You could start calling us on that as well. Let me tell you what today is, and I did receive a call this morning. It's a very strange thing, and I must share this story with you. 41 years ago, 41 years ago, 1980, January the 7th, 1980, my father was killed. My father was killed in the line of duty as a policeman. They attacked him, they took away his gun, and so stabbed him to death. And he would have died after he was taken to the hospital. Two men were charged, and I think I got to find out back what happened. Important month to myself here. I think we're having some bad internet here. Our apologies. It's gonna come. It's coming back and forth. Just bear with us as we keep up with you. Do not go anywhere. Do not touch those dials. But he did remind me today that 41 years ago that happened, and it's very strange that how people connect. I wanted to share that story with you. Because growing up without a dad, and I did have a stepdad, and we did had some protection as two children growing up, two young sons of that policeman. With my mom, she's still a little, she still didn't get over it for a very long time, and 7 years back, she committed suicide. I did share that story with our people here, and I did had a chat with Nias Soban about his battle with depression. I hope that topics like these, we could continue these topics, but it's very strange that that man reached out to me today to remind me of something that I should know. There's some lovely people in our country, and I've gotten some mothers, and I've gotten some aunts and some sisters, some nieces and everything that I adopted during this program here. And people adopt me without me even knowing that they adopted me. And so it's a good thing. This is a very warm country. Be very good people. It's just that we need to be a little more disciplined. Start by demanding a little more out of life, out of what we're getting out of our country. We're going to do very, very well. But do not allow the pressure to fall. Continued pressure, putting on the pressure onto the ones that are in authority. And I'm not talking here about the government alone. It's the opposition. They command 217,000 voters. That's just about what, 13, just about 17,000 less than what the PPP would have gotten, and they would have been able to enter government. But that means almost half of the voting population, less than half rather, is what the opposition would be representing, and so if they're representing them, it would not do this country any good. That you shirk your responsibilities by not attending parliament, by not doing anything, by not you should be opening your offices and advertise it every single day. If you have an issue, come to us and let us represent you. The government, same thing, all the ministries, all the state agencies and everything. Up your game when it comes to customer services, so we could be able to, give the people them some hopes, at least something is being looked into. It's not when they call today, tomorrow, and the customers that or the people that come to you, or they are disturbing me from having my lunch or my normal phone call or my time on Facebook. No, 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 no. Get your act together. If you don't want the job, leave it. Allow somebody else. There are many people who want jobs at this moment. If you believe you can't serve, or you don't have the passion for it, or they're not paying you enough, get up, walk out, hand in your resignation, find something else to do. Go plant a farm or something, but allow the people who want to work to deliver the service to the people who deserve those services. Very, very, very simple as that. Just about 1:30 to 3 right now. Do we have a call online? So it's 2267453. Make sure that you send those messages to 6222222. We are awaiting that. So just about 1:30, we did receive some messages here. Let me see what our people are saying here. Okay, bear with me one moment. Any call there yet? Yes, we happen to have a call. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, brother. Happy New Year to you and your family.
Thank you very much, ma'am. You too.
Family at Kaieteur newspaper. Okay, I'm calling from Horstelling.
Horstelling, yes.
Yeah, my neighbor is a frontline worker at the clinic there. And
Yes.
she just passed them while I'm under my house at the store every day. And she heard your voice on the radio. She told me to remind you that until now, Horstelling frontline worker that haven't received any money as yet.
Frontline health worker. Thank you very much for that. I'm going to send this thing to the Minister. Frontline health worker. Are they working? Well, what are they working with? Does the health center? Or are they working? Who are they working with?
The health center, and the part is the COVID.
All right. You know how many of them are affected?
How you mean affected?
Like how many of them did not receive their?
Apparently the whole set of them, I don't know, but she just told me. I don't know if how much of them, the entire area with the COVID and them, I guess.
So they're talking about this as a year, an announcement by the president or by the authorities about a little bonus kind of thing?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to raise this and see what exactly is
Okay,
happening
and
there, right?
is with these school children.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it till in the night these children have to get work online? Something 8:30, all them children have to get work online. Why is it that late?
Mm-hmm.
What will happen to these children's eyes later?
Well, there's a problem. I want to ask you something. What's the alternative? Because making them stay home, not giving them, because you can't put them in school right now.
It's good enough they're getting it, but why it can't happen like from 8:30 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 9 to 3, like the normal school hour? Why it can't happen then?
Explain a little more, because I'm a little lost here. The
No.
kids, go ahead.
Teachers, they are still receiving a salary. They're
Right.
at school, okay? Why the teachers, I don't know if you could enlighten me too, because I call in at another station, TV station, and I tell them the same thing. Why is it these children have to be getting school work till 8:30 in the night? Why they can't get it during a normal school hour?
That's something that had me wondering too. My daughter would run in like 10 o'clock last night. She ran in the room and she says,
Right.
"Look,
See?
she received it very, very late, and what happened? What she got to do? She got to do her homework. So 12 o'clock last night, she's doing her homework, and I did say that I was going to find out as to why this was so, because I wasn't too happy that at 10 o'clock in the night and whatever is the case, that is when homework is going to take. I am not sure. I don't want to give them all liberty, because it could be that teachers are struggling too. Some teachers live in areas where there's no internet as well. So I'm not sure. I don't know what the situation is. So I'm not sure if the Ministry of Education are giving them any kind of help with regards to the internet payments and so on. They don't have to travel anymore, but it is a difficult thing. But let me try to find out what exactly is the state of play and what the ministry is saying with regards to that.
Okay, brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and to the people of Horstellin and to all the frontline workers there.
I'm going to
At
call her right now and find out is how much of them.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Good.
bye.
Bye bye. So all the frontline workers in Guyana and everybody who would be have been working since March in 2020, after we would have been placed in a pandemic mode. I want to say that we recognize you as always, and we thank you very much for your services. And we know the difficulties also that goes for the teachers and the policemen and everybody, even our soldiers, and so everybody work under difficult circumstances. The entire country on a whole, as well. I mean, compared to what we see, what we read. Even my family, I was talking to one of them last evening, and he came here on some emergency business, and he was telling us, now is not time to go to the United States if you're looking to go there. He said there are long lines for food, and to the food banks and so on. And he says there's a lot of unemployment, a lot of people can't reach their rent, and so there's some bleak faces. A lot of people would have lost their jobs and so on. And so I started thinking if they're going through that, because we sometimes look towards the United States and they're not telling us anything. We have a lot of family there, but a lot of them not telling us some of the hardship what they're going through. But we think all is nice and dandy. But imagine there's snow right now. You don't have a job. You don't have money, because some people live from paycheck to paycheck. Some of them barely could make it because they have payments for the house, for the mortgage, for the vehicles, and other things you have to pay. You have to pay those things you can't withhold. So in the midst of winter, with regards to your energy and water and everything, could you afford for it to be cut out? And what happened to food and so it's some very bleak times. A lot of Guyanese. It's not only the rest of America. A lot of Guyanese have been affected too. And don't forget that a lot of Guyanese would have lost themselves because of COVID-19. A lot of them died. So it's a very, very hard time. People are struggling. People catching the tail, as the old people would say in Guyana. Um, uh, People are catching the tail with regards to just existing day by day. Some days I would get some horror stories. This morning, a lady called. They were living in I think, Wakenham or like one. And it says that they were working on a farm, and her husband working just $3,000 a day. They've been thrown out of the house that they live in because they were working for farmer after they asked for more money. So she came and she was left in Parika, and she says she needed some help to go back in Region 1. Her husband would stay here to work, and so we are desperately trying to get her some help around the place. But this is just one of the many stories that you would be hearing across this land, and in every community that you go there's a bleakness because of the pandemic, and it has taught us some severe lessons. I'm hoping that we could get out of it. We'd be much, much stronger, and when we get out of it, anything that comes that is going to improve our lives, the strength that we would have gathered because of the experience of COVID-19, this pandemic, and of course elections 2020, can't forget that. 5 months of it, our politicians dragged us, divided us, and they did so many things to us. The indignities that we suffered, the fear that was hanging over this crowd, this dark cloud hanging over this country, should be a place that Guyana should never ever want to go back. As we go forward in 2020, 2021, it is something that we have to be very, very positive as we move this country forward. So I think there's a call online. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir.
I know I met it short, man.
Yes.
You're talking about the island gas to shore, right?
Yeah.
Bring it to shore, the island gas
Yes, sir.
to shore. But if the investments are large and within 30 to 40 years, I'll done, what we going to do with the investment back afterwards?
Well, there's oil, and then there's gas. Trinidad has run out of oil. They only have some pockets of oil remaining, and they're basically sustaining themselves using the gas that they have at the moment. I don't want to tell you how long the gas is going to take, but you're right. We
Yeah,
have
well,
to.
such a big investment and we got no use for it after 30 to 40 years.
Well, the funny thing is, what the government is saying on one hand, what the authorities are saying is that, look, you have the gas here. You can't inject everything back into the well. So you either do one or two things. You bring it onto shore, and it could power the energy plants that we're going to have here. Like, you know, the Wartzilla plans that they have that they're putting on. They're putting on some
Yeah,
big
then
engines.
it's a bad thing, yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it could those engines are capable of using natural gas. The new ones that they're putting on at Gardner Vida and East Bank Demerara right now.
But we can get that gas after 30 to 40 years. After then, we can
Well,
still
we
get it.
we don't know, but it's a
Yeah.
good thing. I think what you were asking there, it's a good thing that we
Yeah.
could be able to raise these issues right now because you don't want to run in and you put a
Yeah.
Mercedes to work on the road.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Gildarie. Yeah.
Thank you very much and Happy New Year's. And again, the gentleman is there is very, very right. You don't want to put a Mercedes to be working on the road when you could put a Toyota car. It burns easy and then it's more expensive to maintain. So you would want to have a model, a system that it is affordable. Everything must make financial sense. It must be financially feasible. Meaning, if you're going to open a shop and you're gonna spend $10 million to make $20,000 a month. It doesn't make sense because the amount of time that you gotta pay that back. But if you have a little money in the pocket, start small. That might not be a good analogy, but what it is, if it could be cheaper for you to do wind energy in Guyana, solar energy in Guyana, why would you want to spend that kind of money? Let Exxon figure out what they got to do there. But we have to think this thing through. It has to make sense and we don't end up because I think it's um, one of the countries that you I think it's in Africa, one of the countries there that they have been made to sign on to a gas deal, and they're taking more gas than they know what to do with, and they don't know. They still have to pay for it at the end of the day, and they don't know what to do with the rest of the gas. They could only use so much. So that's a situation you don't want to find yourself that because the gas is there, that we have to take it, we have to pay for it maybe, and then you're left with it on your hands. You got to take this gas, you got to utilize it and make. You could do so many things with gas, but you got to have a proper plan in place. I think they put Winston Brassington Farm ahead of Nissil to be the point man in making sure that there's a good deal on the table and it happens. We'll have to continue to report it. In the meantime, let's go quickly to what are some of the messages that are coming from our people here. So I'm a resident of Tushan New Housing Scheme. There's a guy operating a body workshop causing obstruction. The reporters Matter Corpus saying at Tushan Outpost and no action was taken. Yes, and so we got to be very careful. You have to. I apologize. People complain about the internet. I can't do anything about that. Some people overseas and so on. But to come back to what I'm saying there, we if this person here, I would suggest that this person here get onto EPA, get onto Miss Razak at EPA if you can, and make a complaint to them because she's a very proactive person. I've spoken to her a couple of occasions, and she says if these people make these complaints, we could act on it. So make sure that if the body workshop and whoever it is obstructing, if you're starting a business in Guyana, make sure that you don't obstruct people, that you don't do anything that is going to cause them to be inconvenienced. I see people making blocks block up the road and everything. Why should they be mixing cement? I mean, as I get a little older, sometimes I just want to shut my mouth. But some days when I see it, it really upsets me that other people would be doing their jobs. You have a bus truck. I went into Prospect not too long ago, I mean a couple of months back, and the people complain that there's a man who runs truck to the hinterlands to carry supplies, and he revs his truck starting at 3 o'clock in the morning, repairs them, and when when you repair a truck or whatever it is that you're repairing, you're testing out the engine, and so you start it up and let it idle. And I ain't got to tell you, if you're living there and you're elderly citizen, when the trucks start revving, and that's just one example. Another example could be garbage. It could be obstruction. I mean, if you have a nice little house and somebody got a garage right next door to you, and they're parking all the derelict vehicle around the place and they're not moving it, it brings down the value of your whole house. So many things. And if you have a spray paint shop that is right next door to you and they're spraying all the time, and there's a health issue there, so your man is mining duck and chicken right next to you in a housing scheme. The mining cow that send it through the housing scheme. All these are issues that goes to the quality of life. But what are some of the alternatives? These people need to sit down if they're a set of farmers in whatever community, and let us, come to it and let us see how we could come to the solutions. Maybe the government have to find lands and give it to them in certain areas. They have to, because these people got to exist. You cannot close the business down. But at the same time, Why should I, as a senior citizen, have to live because you want to do your business and I have to be inconvenienced? I don't think there has to be a balance somewhere along the line. So um, let's go very quickly to what our people are saying here. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. Hope all is well with you and family. It's the same point for Superman that told you about the African bees that bite my baby last night. Again, it bite her 5 times. Now, the number you give to me, I get through. They give me a cell phone number. I never got the person again. I'm so frustrated. I can't watch my daughter when she cry. A pain her. Oh my goodness. All right, wait. Hold a second. I'm going to get a number and maybe you could talk to this person. This is a friend. I thought the government would have come near to look after it if you have an issue there, but if it is that they can't do it, but I'm going to have to talk to them too. Um, um, Let me see. Michael, Francis Bailey. He's a guy, he's a big guy. And I think you should talk to him. 639 6911. 639 6911. Tell him that you got a number from me and maybe he could come across. He does things with bees. 639 69. Forgive me, just let me get it. 6911. Francis, his name is. Just call him, and he is gonna try to probably make arrangement. He likes things with bees and things. He does that, so maybe you could talk to him about that, and let me know back how that works. So in the meantime, do we have another caller on the air? Good afternoon, caller. You on the air? Go right ahead.
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon. You're on to Kaieteur Radio, the Wake Up Guyana show.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to get on the program.
Yes, you're on to the program right now. You're live on air.
Yes. I'm a pensioner,
Yes.
and I'm a patient of the eye clinic.
Uh-huh.
One day I heard a lady complaining to Leonard
Yes, that's me.
that she going to the eye clinic and receiving a date, and she's suffering from her eyes. Her eye got cataract.
This is the eye clinic, the ophthalmology center up in Berbice?
I know, in Georgetown.
In Georgetown, yes.
And Mr. Leonard told the lady that he will invite the Dr. Mahadev.
I did think and I did talk to him. He says he's putting some systems into place. But go ahead.
You never mentioned to him, because I listen to the program every day. And but you complain the Mahadev, Dr. Mahadev, about other issues that the nurses not giving service and proper. They don't talk to the people properly, and you would apparently forgot to mention that to the doctor, and after I realized that you didn't mention that to the doctor, I went to the Georgetown Hospital at the complaint authority.
Yes, sir.
To ensure that I make my contribution.
Yes, sir.
And I told them that you all need to entertain the people of lesser complaint in the sense of cataract. They say they look after people of emergency.
Yeah.
I told them, listen, so only emergency, and they say, and you are giving these to people who suffer and they need comfort of life too. So you all need to push in the 1-2 small cases in between.
Right.
So you all can do all the emergency and left out the small cases, and people still feel uncomfortable, stressed, and so forth, and frustrated.
What did they say?
Need to push in 1-2 of the small cases.
What did they say?
So how long COVID is here, the people receiving date all the time.
What did they say?
Pardon me?
What did they say when you told them that?
I'm going to 25th. I'm going 25th of this month for date again.
Uh-huh.
So I have cataract.
All right. Well, let me tell you, I have to, after hearing what you would have said, this is an issue that came up, yes, indeed. And I apologize for not raising because there's so many things that goes through my head on a daily basis.
I appreciate that.
But what
listen,
I could tell you...
One more thing.
Yes.
I want to know if when I go back there on the 25th of January, I want the authority to discuss this problem with the doctors. Let them push in the one too smog.
No, well, hold on. I was about to tell you when you jump in there. I had a chat with Dr. Vishnu Mahadio just about a week or two back, and he did indicate some very good news. He says the ophthalmology center up in Quarantine is a place that was somehow, for some reason or the other, not operational during the latter part of the coalition administration. So he did say that it's a big priority for this government here now, and very shortly it is going to be open back. I think they are bringing in some big exports right now from Cuba. That's one, and two, they are going to be doing some other things like cataract in addition to some laser surgery and so on. He did say laser, and I said what? I said I want to know more about that, but apparently they are about to make some big announcements with regards to the ophthalmology hospital in Berbice.
Yeah, and I want one more thing. Remember, people don't have money. And imagine my both eyes had cataract. And when my wife take out the food, and she cooked two curry, let me say bura and bhaji, I had to ask my wife which one is the bura and which one is the bhaji. Imagine how my eyes gone bad. And I had to beg for mercy to a friend. I had to go to people because I start my life late and I end up financially tight in my life.
Yes, sir.
Right? And I'm a pensioner. I can't afford. And I happen so I get little money and I have to go to Woodlands. Right? $175,000, brother.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And today, I see a little more better. But they had I gone bad. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still a suffer. So on the 25th of January, they gave me a date. So I'm going. I already lodged my opinion to the complaint authority.
All right, no problem. So
Good.
you keep me posted what's happening, and let's see where it goes from there. But with regards to the hospital, I know they're moving very swiftly to have that up and running. I'm interested in that too because as part of my thing, I have to get some opinions, some look into that area there. So I'm highly interested in that too. All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
And I would like to congratulate your program. I would like to say all the best to the staff and you. All the best and have a progressive 2021.
Thank you very much, sir. You're
and
kind.
God bless you and your family.
All the best for this year. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So, in the meantime, dear, while we say goodbye to that gentleman, dear, there's some other comments coming in onto our 6222222. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. Happy New Year to you and your family, also to the Kaieteur family. What happened to the metric system that has gone to the law sometime? That has gone into law some time ago. The up and down scale with the right is robbing customer. Guyana need to go metric. Why is Guyana at the back of the line? I think all CARICOM countries using metric weighing and measuring. We need to go kilos and liters. This is a message from a Guyanese living in the Netherlands. Please keep up the good work, bro. Have a nice day. Thank you very much, sir. And yes, this is a topic that they need to look back at and maybe have some discussions because you see a lot of the times. I think a lot of people are being robbed. You go to the meat place. A man called me, I think it was last month or the other month. He went to buy pork, and he says instead of them giving me 4 pounds, they give me 3 pounds. So he left, and he had no other choice but to just accept what he has. But the point is, when you go to many of the shops, you don't know what they do to the scale. They could put a little metal underneath, and some people used to put coins and so stick up a couple coins together and put it on the thing, and so they rob you a couple of they rob you something there, and at the end of the day, you are less afraid, but they smile and they walk away. So the Bureau of Standards is the one who's saying they're supposed to be checking. But they agree with you. The entire world is going with that metric thing. Let's see why is it that they're not going. It's a more precise measurement, very specific. We should be talking about that. I thank you very much. Interesting conversation. Good afternoon, sir. Last night, the police and vehicle come to Jupat's bar and tell the woman to keep the bar low. And the next police come on a motorbike and say why the bar open. Close down the bar and take them to the police station. Sorry, thank you. I feel safe now. The police risk life. Save a few dollars. Thank you. Yes, I did send a message to, I think is Mr. Harper. He is a superintendent in the Grove Diamond area there. Mr. Harper, good day to you. I know that you are working. Whenever I send him messages, he would respond and says, okay, I will look into it. And so this particular buyer apparently was breaking the rules. They seem to be above the law. It seems as if a couple of officers, policemen, have linkages here. You know, people are seeing these things, so you got to be very, very careful. Make sure that we are cognizant of the fact that when you believe you alone know, all the neighborhood and everybody see knows and they see things and they talk about it. They in the rum shop they can talk there, the barber shop they can talk. The ladies can congregate and say, "You see Gildarie, the policeman there, he got some linkages. He's go by the bar there too, and he owns something there. Policeman running bar, leave the job if you want to run the bar." I mean, nobody's saying that you can't have a side hustle, but when the side hustle allows you to break the law, well, then you have some issues. So, very quickly, do we have another call there? Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead. Hello. I think we would have missed that. Okay. Good afternoon, Gildarie. When will Kaieteur News have someone from Exxon to discuss the Kaieteur PSA? Is any attempt being made to do so? Glad you mentioned the situation in the U.S. as regards to pandemic, but there's certain columnists in Kaieteur News who doesn't seem to know these facts, but instead keep bashing the government over the handling of the pandemic. These people need to be informed or need to inform themselves properly instead of writing for the sake of writing. The richest country of the world don't have control over this pandemic. Yes, it is something. I thank you very much for that. It is something that I think we are in a better position to understand what this pandemic, what this virus is doing. It's yes, it is mutated somewhat. You have a different strain as we go into the new year as to how the countries are going to be dealing with them across the world. I know how Guyana is dealing with it. The government are taking some gambles to reopen some of the border areas. When I say border areas, the airports. And it is being done on the strict COVID-19 guidelines. Is it helpful to the country? They would have to look back at it and do the assessments at the level of the administration, at the level of the various authorities and those experts there to see whether one, is it proven, is reopening the airport to allow more people to come in and leave a threat, because the proof of the pudding would obviously be the number of cases that you would be seeing. If the cases are dropping, based that they've been increased tests and the cases are dropping, then you know that the control of the border is very good and the airports are very good and things are looking. And we could basically, to improve the economy, take this chance, because if you shut the country down, you're not going to get anything, and at the same time a lot of businesses are going to be folding, and so you don't want that situation. It's a very hard call to make, but I understand it very, very clearly. 673-1210. Please do not call us on, you've been calling us on the 622-222. Please, we can't take any call. My apologies. We can only take text on that number. 2267453 is the number that you could call to get onto us. Is there another number that you could is there another person calling? Yes. Good afternoon, caller. You on the air?
Hello.
Yes, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Am I on to the Kaieteur program?
Yes, you're on to the Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio.
Okay, yes. I just called to say thanks for the credit. I ain't getting through with y'all at all.
That's because Raj and Mr. Glenlal and everybody at Kaieteur News, they're culprits. All right.
Anyhow, it's a person from East Bank, right?
Thank you very much.
Yes, and God bless you and a happy new year to you and your family. And don't get pressure with them people. Thank you.
No, I'm not getting pressure. Nobody can pressure me. You know who can pressure me? The little picnic that I got there.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very
pray
much.
for them, right?
Yeah.
Okay then. Have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Yes,
All the best until the new year too. So thank you very much. The police are facilitating the vendors every day at the Freedom Hoop Junction and obstructing the free movement of the traffic. The road was engineered with this lane for margin of traffic. Yes, I can't understand. Not too far away from the Freedom Hub police station, we spent millions of dollars to fix that West Bank road. I love it driving there. I love driving some parts of the East Coast Road as well. You got to be careful that you're not speeding because you have some merges, and so if you're not familiar, you could get yourself into a lot of trouble. The traffic lights on the East Coast, it's a very tricky road to drive right now. On the West Bank, it is also a big issue there. But when you fix it and you put it specific lanes and so to turn, and then you put vendors to sell on the road, we back to square one. What is wrong? What's happening to the police people? The law is the law is the law. You have to enforce it. And if it's happening right in front of your eyes, not too far from the police station, not too far from the RDC. The RDC is right at the Breeden Hoop Junction there. What's happening? What is it that you guys are doing there? You know, Ministry of Public Works, wake up, smell the coffee. These are the kind of things that lead people to think that it's okay to get away with doing what you feel like in this country. Yes, you have to earn a living. At the convenience of the entire country, at the result of you breaking the law, you can't do that. Hi. Thank you. I would also like to know if a diabetic patient has glaucoma and the eyes bleeding at the back, if that surgery would be doing at the hospital too in Berbice. Yes, I think all of this they're going to be looking at. So I'm going to be chatting with Dr. Vishnu Mahadio today. I'm hoping to get him. He's such a busy guy in all the region, but tells me that there's a big priority for them, that ophthalmology center. I'm hoping that they open it because over the years, my uncle was telling me last evening, over the years, that hospital has really helped a lot of people across this country. And it's good that we do a mixture. We have the Cubans helping us, and so they coming in and they have been working with us over the years over a special program that the government of Guyana and the government of Cuba, they have signed on to a cooperation kind of agreement. We put up the, what you call it, we would put up these people here and they come and you know, we work with them. So it's a very good thing in this country that, you know, as we move forward, that we should be looking at all kind of innovative ways in which we could help our people. So very quickly, just 1 second. Do we happen to have another call online? Good afternoon, caller on the air. No, we missed that. Let me see. Today. Hi, Gildarie. I'd like the president to look into caliber security workers to get a $25,000 bonus because the security workers are looking after government school and other assets around the country. They need help too. It's a private arrangement, but I hear what you're saying there. I think if a couple of workers put the case together instead of one, and they could do it, because that would be the same for anybody. I also work for government in an indirect manner too. I mean, we pay our taxes too. Could we ask? I mean, it might be a bad analogy, but where do you draw the line? That's the point. But I hear what you're saying there. Security companies, you got to do a little more for the workers, man. You guys got to do a little more. Police soliciting from a driver in Rosignol. The people have sent a picture here of the police in Rosignol talking to a driver there. And they seem to be taking money from him. I'm going to have to check into this. Hi, Gildarie. Good afternoon. I've been hearing a rebroadcast by the Attorney General on the COVID-19 relief distribution. He said that the only people that was not to receive the grant were the ministers. So if you think that they need that when they inherited, so do you think they needed that when they inherited a exorbitant APNU increase? Well, good point, and but it's a good point that he has made there. Happy Thursday from freezing cold Minnesota. Thank you very much, dear. Good afternoon, Mr. Gregory and the Glen Lal Show. Mr. Jagdeer used Guyana's bauxite sector decline as an example of why it's a good decision to extract the oil as fast as possible. He named two surviving bauxite producers, Guinea and Australia, because the bauxite is easily accessible, unlike Guyana, whose is very deep and hard to extract. Just like the bauxite, if the demand for oil drops, he said it would then Guyana's sweet, low sulfur, pure, light, easy accessible, high grade oil. His words will be the oil of the future, and that will be in great demand because, according to him, new environmental laws would dictate what the sour, sulfur-laden heavy oil in other countries will have to be cleaned out at an additional cost to production and other taxes. Using Mr. Jagdeer's reasoning, I've come to the conclusion that even if the world demand falls, it will not affect Guyana's, whose oil will meet the new specification naturally. So a slow extraction and get the person is saying here, slow the extraction and get all systems in place. Like they say in Guyana, once it's gone, it's gone. Just because of a theory of a non-trustworthy politician's head about oil demand dropping. We get the point there. So thank you. Hi, good afternoon, sir. Sugar worker at the Escalon so they get pay off. You know anything if he could? This is a sugar worker at Escalon so that get pay off. You know anything if he get this $25,000? Well, they were in that area there. I'm not sure why they didn't get pay or anything. I know that they were in that area there. Could you give me some more details? I can't comment on it until I get some more. Very quickly. Hi, Leonard. Good afternoon. Happy New Year's to you and the family of Kaieteur staff. I'd like to give a little information about the Ponzi scheme, about how the money was spent out of Guyana. A little board whispered to me that the Cuban traders that were coming into Guyana had a contact with the Cuban guy and his wife that runs the scheme to collect the money to buy all the stuff here in Guyana whenever they want to collect from him. They would take the profit and put his money in a few Latin countries like Panama, Colombia, Peru, Argentina in a bank account that he would give to them. So it is most likely his money would not be repaid. Also, some of the priests here, pastors that are associated with, and the police should check on them and their family's bank account. Money can be hidden in these bank accounts. So many stories that going through here. I don't know what is true, what is not. What I do know is that people are calling for some kind of resolution, some kind of closure to this Ponzi scheme, alleged Ponzi scheme situation. We know it's before the courts. You can't comment too much about it, except I find it unbelievable that we grant him bail, that he was going to pay out these people here and can't pay the people them out. All kinds of excuses, all kinds of stories, and smart pans of lawyers that they have that give out the people all kind of excuse. And last evening, people shot at his home. You know, these are not things that we want. People taking people taking the laws into their hands. Good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. I have a problem to highlight about the COVID-19 cash grant. I'm living at my mom for some time now. I have a family. The people that went to my mom say I cannot get a cash grant because it's one to a house. In a particular case like this, they're supposed to have filled out the pink form. You're supposed to fill it out. Did you fill it out? You did not say. You need to tell me. And if you have filled it out, they are going to come back for a second phase. The president of Guyana says so. Happy New Year to all of you. Have a great and blessedly. Love you guys, Josh, and your lovely co-workers. Thank you very much for that. In the meantime, do we have another call in line? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Happy New Year to you and your family and the Kaieteur family and everyone.
Thank you very much. You sound more happy than me. Why?
I am happy today because I received my 25.
I suspected that. You got to be something, man.
Oh, my dear, listen.
Where you calling from?
They're in Sophia.
Oh, you're
right?
in Sophia, right?
Yeah, I'm happy that I received it, and I have to say thank God because we need it, you know. And regardless of what, sir, we need it. But I am a little sad because my son downstairs did not get it. But I am happy.
Well, the thing is, because it says, I think they would have budgeted, I think they've spent so far about $7 to $8 billion, and they still need some more money. It takes a lot of money. They didn't cater for so much of money, but I think they've taken some loans overseas for it too. But I think the president says for the second phase. I personally would have liked to see some speed in this, but I'm not sure. How many people do you put cash in to share around the country? It's a very touchy thing.
Well, I want to say that I've seen a lot of what I've seen. I don't like it, but I can't explain because you know what? I don't want to complain any further because I've seen persons receive in 2 years and they receive for their children, and I did not get for my child because he's not at home.
Did you raise this issue with anybody?
No, I asked the people them that sharing the money. I said, why can my son get it? He's not at home and he's working. My son is working in a store in Regent Street.
But no. What I want to think, I understand that the next door neighbor that got they broke that rule to give the entire everybody in the yard.
I saw 3 families in a yard get, and then I.
You know that for a fact?
Pardon?
You know that for a fact?
Yeah, because I talked to the neighbor and he told me that one of the son did not get, but 3 of them get. No, 2 of them and their house.
We heard many stories like this across this country. I think, and the ministry, you see, it's a very uneven thing. While it is not wrong to give out the money, but there are certain procedures that they have to follow. If you're going to say in every village that we go to, only the principal person of that household, of that yard, is going to get until we come back for the second time, you're going to
No.
stick by that, but they're breaking the laws. You're giving Tom, Dick, and Harry,
And
but over
listen,
there, you're not
sir.
doing it.
And listen, sir, I stand on my veranda and I see that, and then my neighbor tell me that his two children get and he get. And I saw the next opposite me that the family, the boy is not at home, but the mother received the money for him.
You
And
imagine that? You
why
imagine
can't
that?
I get
Sick.
for my child? And we are poor people too, you know? And then my son gone to work, and then when I asked them that how why can't my son fill up the pink form? Well, he's not at home, and he can't fill up nothing if
But
he's not at home.
let me ask you a question. The people that share now, are the people that knows people in that area there? Are the
No,
people
I
that are
don't
known?
know them. I don't know them. They're all African person, Guyanese, but there no Indian between them, and I don't know them. I don't know none of them. But I see their but my next door neighbor and them they're laughing, and the policeman and them they're
So
laughing.
somebody gives somebody a raise. There's probably the conclusion there. But they cannot do that. They're breaking the laws. Well, not the laws. There's certain. They've set some conditions.
Yeah.
They set some very clear conditions. One household, if there's several household or people renting, they're going to give the principal and they fill out the pink form and then come back at a later date. The later date is about to come very shortly, according to the president in his New Year's address.
Well,
So
my
if you're
dear,
doing that, if you're breaking that, then you are going against the conditions.
well, my dear, when I listen to your program and I hear a person complain, I believe them because what I saw with my eye is not that somebody tell me. I saw it.
But the Auditor General, the president says that he has instructed the Auditor General to make sure that they verify this. Apparently, there's a verification system. But if you go to, you see, because it's so many, remember, is every household that you are
Yes.
supposed to be go. It's a very complex,
I
a very
know, I
hard
know,
thing.
sir.
But I thank you for that, though, right? I
But
thank you for
listen,
that.
I want to wish you all the best because I know you're off and we will miss you so much.
I do
And
appreciate that.
And you try to take care of yourself because you know life is very short. Opposite my neighbor, I heard this morning that he fall on and died. And he's such a strong guy. You know, he's big. He's a senior citizen and he works taxi. And when I heard, like, I can't take it, but I was so sad. But when the COVID people come around and gave me my money, the grant, I was so happy again. But still, life is short and we have to live happy, okay?
You're a very beautiful soul, and I like those kind of languages coming out of your mouth. Those are the kind of thing, the love that you have there, the caring kind of attitude. I
Yeah.
like that. I like
And
that.
you share that with us, so that is why we have that love. You share that every day, and we read the newspaper and we see a lot of things. So I wish you all the best, my dear, and take care of yourself and your beautiful children and your wife, okay?
Thank you very much, ma'am. All the best.
Bye-bye and stay
Bye-bye.
well.
All the way from Sophia, I want to say good day to the good folks down there in Sophia, South Georgetown area. How it is that you're doing today? What has the rains been doing to you? A lot of flooding. Some people were complaining to me about the north side of Sophia there, that there's some floodings, and they were asking for some help. I'd have to get to some numbers there. What we do know is that, it's very sad that you should be hearing things like that. Now, we coming down, we put a pause on everything right now and talk a little about this show. We've been back and forth trying to find some solutions to this program here. Unfortunately, it's very unfortunate that I must say to you that we have been unable to find a host that we continue to work on it. But Mr. Lal says that we've been unable to find a host who could consistently come every single day and run this program here. It takes you need to have some knowledge. You need to be familiar with all sides of Guyana so you could be able to deliver what the people have been asking for. You could talk a little about what's happening in Berbice, what's happening in Region 1. You must be able to connect the people because there's a demand for this program in a certain format. It's not just a talk show. This is not a talk show, really. It's the facilitating of the people. It is to bridge the gap, kind of. It's a service that we are offering here from Kaieteur Radio. So Mr. Lal and myself, and so we're going to continue to work very closely, even while I'm off, to see how we could get this program up and running. There's a big time slot between the 1 to 3 p.m. there that we must make use of, and so we will continue to work. A lot of heads are to be working together to make sure that something comes out of it. But unfortunately, as of tomorrow, until we get such a good word, until we get that host, and there's not a lot of them that we could, somebody who's gonna give up their time. Because when I'm finished here, I have to go down and probably edit or do some other work with the newspaper as well. So our work continues throughout the entire day, and to get somebody who's gonna come 2 hours to find things to talk, to really be patient with the people, to have knowledge across this country, it's a very tall order. Um, and anybody that comes here, I could tell you it's a lot of sacrifice that you have to do to come in, day out to do it. But for me, it was very, very easy. I look forward to it because you guys have been fantastic. You guys have been tremendous. The warmth. I mean, how long I'm living, I will remember this. And I'm hoping to come back in the next couple of months to continue this program. But how long I'm living, I will never forget the experience of some very wonderful people. The lady from 58, the many people from overseas. I don't want to call all the names before they get crazy. I'm missing somebody and they get very crazy on me. But you know who you are, and you have been reaching out, sending me messages, giving us the encouragement to make sure that we continue to serve. And it is a service with pleasure. It's a very humbling experience. I don't see this as anything except that we are here to serve. And for me, it has brought great joy to myself. My family wasn't too happy with some of the attention because your phone never stops ringing and it takes a lot out of you. The people call 9 o'clock in the night, 10 o'clock in the night, you have to take it. But it has been a very humbling experience for me, and for that I treasure it a lot. Tomorrow we have some very big individuals. I think I'm gonna have Captain Mike Charles. You know that guy that flies the government GDF helicopter, very experienced, and he would have taken some photographs, some fantastic, beautiful photographs of this country here, and chronicled it. Some of these photographs in I think as a CD. He's gonna bring a DVD. If you should get your hands on that, buy it. Give him the support. It's incredible what you would be seeing of your country. And I'm going to have him here tomorrow. Also, we're going to have some people, some fishermen, some activists, and so on, coming on to this program here. We're going to be talking about, I think, Captain John Flores of the Maritime Administration Department. We're going to have Miss Anatar June, and she's a national awardee on activism in Guyana. She likes to talk about turtle conservations and so on, but she's also talking about illegal fishing and so on, and we want to talk about that and protections and so see what we could do for this country of ours. They're going to be here also. I think the chairperson of the Upper Quarantine Fishing Co-op, he is going to be here as well. So unfortunately, we are at that juncture. We will keep you posted. Just stay tuned to us as to how this show goes forward. It is my deep regret that it has to come to a point here, but sometimes these things do happen. I think in August, when we would have parted company with Yog because he had taken time off for us to fight for democracy in this country. And I don't regret that either. If I had to face the same choices that we faced at March 2nd and afterwards March 3rd and so on, it is a fight that we'd gladly would take up again because of what it meant for this country, what this country means for us. And if there are any lessons that could be taught because of the last couple of months, it is this. Number one, we are a privileged set of people because of we're Guyana. People have been talking about this country here, about what it means and the potential of this country and what it has to offer in terms of natural resources. Very few countries around this world has the kind of resources that we have. How did we get it wrong? I think it's a combination of a couple of things. It has to do with history. how this country was run, colonialism, and so on. I think Freddie Kissoon would probably tell you a little bit that. It has to do with our very culture of, not being very aggressive. It has to do with a culture also of corruption, taking subpar or below par um, services and say that that is okay. It's about time. It is about this time here now, 2021, for us to wake up. If we didn't wake up last year, if the pandemic and the elections of 2020 did not wake us up, then nothing will. We don't deserve what we get in if that's the case. If we sit down and say this is how we want to live for the rest of our life, let's don't ask the government for a handout. Let's demand a part of what belongs to us. Let's start fighting for it. Let's demand everybody within our government agencies, in the various entities, the local government organs, entities, to deliver the services that they're mandated to deliver. We've been talking about that. We've been teaching ourselves about that. I don't have the knowledge, but I've learned. People have been complaining about GT&T, about GPL, about GWI, and everything they've been talking about. And they say, we don't like the services. What have you done about it? Use the letters today. That is, use Facebook. Take out pictures. Share it. Be aggressive. The ladies are talking. And one of the fantastic things that would have been coming out of this program here is that women have been coming out and they've been very vocal and they've been talking. People have been talking a little more what they're seeing, what they believe to be injustices within their community by NDC leaders, by police people, by so many other things. And they're talking a little more. And for me, that is very, very good. For a very, very long time, we've been too silent. Do not be silent anymore. Your future is at stake. If you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for your grandchildren. If you don't have grandchildren, do it for your families. If you don't want to do it for anything else, do it for the sake of this country. Where is patriotism? Where's the love for country? Remember JFK? I think he would have made it even more famous if somebody else would have said it. Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I've got to ask you something. What have you done lately for your country? What have you done for your community? What have you done for your neighbors? We don't have to look out for ourselves all the time, and it's not lock up, you go home, you lock up, and if your neighbor's starving or they're going through a hard time, it's their business. If you create criminals within your community, blame yourself for that, because when you see they would have been doing wrong, the little boys run around and they're smoking the ganja on the corner and they're smoking up the crack or whatever it is that they do, and you shut your mouth, eventually it becomes okay. That community is so much more or less because of that. We are all to be blamed. It's not that I want to lecture. I don't have that kind of capacity to lecture. What I do know is what I've experienced and what I would like for this country. And that's what you have to have awakening on. What is it that you know is right for this country? What is it that you would like? And I would like good roads. I would like more bridges across the Demerara River. I'd like the police to do their work. I'd like to walk into a government office and see good services. I'd like the NDC to work. I'd like the RDC to work. I'd like the Mayor and Town Council of Georgetown to understand that they have a mandate to the people. The city stinks. What are they doing? What have they done lately to start changing? I would, as Mayor of Georgetown, I would be challenging this government for us to meet on the table. Let's just don't take it anymore. This thing is Georgetown. It's not a city council issue. It's a national issue. Our capital city is here. It stinks. Who's doing it? Who's going to bail the cat? Who's going to do things differently? It is that time of the year. It's that time of the day, very early in the game of the oil and gas, that we could be able to fix things before it gets worse, gets out of control, and then we're going to come back 20 years and says, if only in 2021 that we would have taken this opportunity, just 1 year into oil production, to fix things instead of waiting 20 years down the line and says, we dropped the ball in this one here. Maybe you're not going to be living. But what happened to your children? What happens to the generations that are to come? These are things that are going to be very, very critical in our country. Let us fix it. Let us be disciplined. Let us be good citizens. If we want to fix this country, we should also be looking into things like migration about the rule of law, that the rule of law should go for the poor people as well for the rich people. You could be assured that your judges is going to look at Gildarie and look at Glenlal and mete out the same justice to them because the court and the law says so. It can't be because you have money that you would see, you would have a slap on your wrist. And how many times have we seen that? And we shake our heads and we smile. We shake our heads and we smile. How many times have we received and seen things that were the atrocity? I have friends within the police force. And I called my reporter a couple of days back and I said to him, you see that video there where the police kicking that man in the head? And I liken it into a situation. A man has a knife and a policeman has a gun and he's 20 feet away from you. Are you going to shoot that man in the head? Or are you going to try for his legs? Because if you believe he's a threat to you, he's coming towards you. You have to incapacitate him. Your training says that you would have gone to shooting ranges. Your gun, the gun that you have in your hand, you take that man's life away. Could it be viewed as extreme force? I mean, you don't know what's going through that man's life. The point is you can't see a man down on the ground and 5 policemen surround that man, or 3 policemen, and they're kicking the living daylights out of his head. Yes, maybe he aggravated the situation. Could we have had enough training to handcuff that man and restrain him? Instead of the cameras are there, you have to pretend when Gildarie walks the road or he goes somewhere, the cameras are there all over the place. You have to assume that somebody is videoing. Somebody did video. The police, the man on the ground at the Stabrook Market, he's alleged to have stolen as a bandit from somebody. He scrambled for the police, and you got to see how they weighed into him, man. Was it too much force? Did they go overboard? I would say yes. And these are things we have to call it out, because when we talk about excess crime, we look at the U.S. and what would have happened because of excessive force by the police force against the people. It cannot be that one set of people is saying that because I'm of a certain race or color, we shouldn't be talking about that, but these are the issues that we're dealing with. That because of that, they target you. Let's stop talking about race and in Guyana. Like I've said before, when you touch down in the United States, in Canada, or wherever it is that you go in, you don't say, I'm a black Guyanese, I'm an Indian Guyanese, I'm a Chinese Guyanese, I'm an Amerindian Guyanese. I'm Guyanese because the nationality of that section of the passport, it says when it says nationality, it says Guyanese. That's what it says. So why should you come here and says because you're Indian and you're whatever? And I'm not sure, this may be a topic that is taboo to a lot of people, and says, why is he raising that issue? Well, my great-grandfather, or my grandfather was Chinese. My son, 18 years old, my eldest son, his mom is from another race. Is he not my son at the end of the day? He is Guyanese. He is my son. He has my DNA there. And these are things we have to look at, serious issues. What is it that you want out of your country? What is it that you're prepared to sacrifice for the country? It takes just a little that we have to do within our communities. You don't have to do anymore. We're not asking you, or you shouldn't be asked to go out on the road with a placard. That's not what we're asking. But within your community, don't pay a bribe. Look out for your neighbor. Keep your surroundings clean. Pay your taxes. You would find it easier not to pay $5,000 annually in your rates and taxes. But you take $10,000 very easily and go in to Sita's bar or to one of the bars that's around you, and you drink on it because it makes you happy, but you can't find time to pay taxes. But guess what? You pick up the phone or something and you cuss at the end of the year that your garbage is not being cleaned. On the flip side of that, our authorities are using a lot of the monies that they've been getting, and they're misusing it because they're giving contracts. I'm not sure to the extent of what has happened under this government. I could tell you that the Fernali is a very serious man. I've spoken to Barjagdi a couple of occasions, and he says, we don't want to walk that road. If you know of any situation, bring it to our attention. If you know of any situation, bring it and talk about it. If you know of a family of an NDC chairman or the councillors getting contracts, and somebody is benefiting and the other people not benefiting, and procurement procedures have been bypassed or breached, talk about it. tell somebody about it. You shut your mouth, you're part of the problem, not the solution. Simple as that. Do we have a call in line? Good afternoon, caller. You on the air. Go right ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, brother.
Good afternoon, sir.
I want a topic about this eye clinic.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, 2014 I went there. My wife take me there because I have cataract in my eyes. I went in the room after wait from 7 o'clock in the morning till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The doctor shine a light in my eye and the two little boys them. And they say, man, nothing wrong with your eye. That you got a vision problem. I said, no, I got a vision problem, but these two eyes have a net over them. When you look at you and this net got two black spots, and you fall on your face, I can't see your face. If I reading, this black spot land on this line them, I can't read. I gotta get this vision, but this glasses help me a lot.
Right.
But still I got this net. The net still there, all two eyes. And he said that nothing wrong with me eye. My eye is good. I went to the optical place and I get a glass for $10,000. But I think that place needs to be thing, ma'am, because let me tell you, a lot of bodies suffer from eye. And myself, like I left this till me dead with it. Because every day getting worse and worse.
Could you because I'm gonna get tomorrow. I'm gonna update you guys about the ophthalmology center, and we're gonna see where it goes from there. But I'm gonna give you an update tomorrow as to where the thing. But continue engaging them because I do know that they are putting together the team there, and they are gonna restart that ophthalmology center with some major procedures. You're gonna see some major changes according to what Dr. Vishwa Mahadio said to me.
Thank you very much, sir, about that. Because, sir, since then, I didn't go back because I will go back to hear the same thing again.
Right. Well, I'm
You
going to see.
understand?
And I know eyes very important for people.
Sir, that's very important.
Right.
If I look at you, I can't see your face. I've got to one side. We like to see your face. Like, because this net is so much, it's spotted on this net. The net is not hard, but it's black spot them on the net.
I hear what you're saying there, and I wish you all the luck. Keep me posted what's happening.
Yeah, my brother. And here, this Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
I was we were talking about it last night at a gas station.
Yeah.
Choke gas station.
Yeah.
And the worker was telling me, the man who filling up the island, he was telling me that, by them people, they say, see, got this thing, them enjoy the benefit. They could open back this gas station. Gas station may close over decades. And these people ain't got this thing modified. Mom, I tell you, if you see this design of this gas station now.
So you say that they benefited? That you're alleging that they benefit from that?
Yes, and they say they still owe them, but it don't benefit them.
All right, yeah, a lot of people, yeah.
They get that what they get for them don't get hundreds of times more than that.
All right, thank you very much for that. I don't want to...
small person them who really suffer.
Well, you see, the thing is, I didn't even know that this thing used to happen. A lot of people seems to know. It was like word of mouth.
Yes.
You know, I don't know what to say about our pastors, a couple of pastors and pundits and so were involved with this. I don't know how they would face the Almighty if you believe in such things. If how you can face it, because they're wicked to have done that to the people.
One man now walk no way and you see buy a car. But you doesn't know how you get a car.
Right.
Get drugs. But the man been a benefit.
I hear what you're saying.
You come out, who never get a benefit from it.
Yeah, but it was illegal. I think people missing this point. I'm not sure. It was illegal. Listen to me. Let me go back to this thing once again. This thing was never advertised in any media.
Good.
It's only word about people was known by it. So why people, I mean, there's an old saying, if anything is too good to be true, then run far. Well, I just put in that part here.
Well, you know, when one get a benefit, you tell your friend.
You tell your friend, right?
Another friend.
Right.
And the thing go on. But the small man at the end get the lash.
Yeah.
And the big man who get like cans and all them man who get dig underground building and so, them benefit.
All right, my brother. Thank you very much, right?
Yeah, tell about the police now. You know, when you go out in a street, these people design this road so great, my brother, that if a person the drive, you can, by the sign of the road could lead you in a proper manner.
Uh-huh.
But the drivers them do those. Look, you got a man named Munishwar got a store at Good Hope.
Uh-huh.
He drunk one afternoon.
Hey, man, we don't go down there.
Good. Let me say, the driver was going out the street there.
Yeah.
He called him. He said, Ali, what happened, buddy?
Yeah.
He said, man, I'm there. He said, walk him. He said, yes. He said, come back with me. And I said, man, you chase me already. Me come back with you. He asked me where to walk. Anyway, the man, back one speed and he drive away. Well, when he meet the road, there for meet a major road now, he got a signboard marked stop. But he never stopped. But the two female officers was there and stop him and tell him you breach the law, you're supposed to stop, look before you come out because you don't know what the major road get.
Uh-huh.
And they begin to talk and then the man start get after the police officer and while when we see, I had my phone where I took what the pictures are. All we see a green note, he hand to the girl and the girl start to laugh.
Yeah, all right. All right, my brother.
Police make a lot of money on this road.
Oh, plenty is some money making thing for some of them.
Yes, and this accident just can't stop.
No, because man, they got to review the licensing system for drivers. They have to. All right,
let me tell you,
Chief. Hey, I can't have you too long on this program because we have
sir.
other people, right? So thank you very much, my brother.
Well.
God bless you. Bye bye. Unfortunately, I'm really sorry, but I really want to bring on some other people. But very quickly, our license system for drivers, I think they have to look back at it, and they have to modernize this entire system. We have to have, like if you reach a certain age, I'm not saying that the some persons in the 60s are not healthy, but the fact is you should have as part of a mandatory requirement and that at a certain age that you would have to do back some tests and so on to make sure that you are competent to drive or handle a vehicle on the road. Because there are a lot of good drivers, even better than some of the younger ones. The other thing that you have is that a lot of people would have received their license on the questionable means. If you look, you see a little boy, next thing you know, he drive a car for a couple of months, and next thing you know, the man driving a minibus. How did he get that license for that vehicle, for that driving a minibus? If you're driving a minibus, you have to be able to get a couple of years of experience, in driving. So before you even would have reached a requirement on that. So I think they have to, the authorities, if this is not something that they've already started doing, they should be looking into looking at this entire requirement and the whole system of driver's license, and they would have the issuance of license and so on. I think in America they call it driver's permit and so on, because it's a permit to drive. And if you have permission, you could also not have permission as well. Very easy to be yanked. And if you're driving and you've caused accident, it goes points against your insurance in some places. They have to start looking at innovative ways in which to penalize people. If you jam down the people then post and you cause electricity to go out, you got to start. I mean, accidents will be accidents, but we cannot as people to be penalized because of your recklessness, and we've seen that over and over and over. The system has to be able to work in such a way that if you fly off the road and you fly into my yard and you into my house, I got to come down and the court should be penalizing you in a very quick manner within a matter of couple of months. That either you pay it or we come after your properties. These are issues that has to be dealt with. I mean, think out of the box. There are many ways in which you could ease the burden on the people, either because the court system is not working, either because somebody gets a slap on the wrist because, the court says so. We need to change the laws to allow the people to be protected a little more. First world country, talking about first world country, have to have first world protection. Simple as that. Not a call in the air there, sir. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie.
Good afternoon, sir.
I hear a call, a woman call before this last caller from Sophia saying that now that with the $25,000 distribution, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that is true because I live in Sophia here and they come down to give this $25,000 and just my sister alone get it from, she's the owner for the house. Mm-hmm. And them didn't even ask me my name or what, everything, give me an interview, for know that if I qualify or whatever. Being, I 63-year-old, and I ain't getting pension. I ain't reached age for get pension as yet. I did get disability because I get vision impaired, and the reason why I here because I get to attend clinic. And this is 6 years now, and I glad for this money because that I asked she, right, because of why the reason why then giving other people and I can get just that my sister don't get money already 25,000, but that is my sister money. That's not me money.
Did you fill out a pink form?
No, them didn't even ask me my name, and you get other people them from the same neighborhood. We live like 2 and 3 people live in the same house that then given this money.
Well,
so,
if you know that, I want you to contact the NDC in your neighborhood there. Make it and let me know back what happened there. But if you know of any cases that they made an exception to, tell them that you know of such and such a case and you need a thing or you're going to call in the media.
yeah,
I want you to do that.
This happened right in front of the thing here because other people are talking that they get this money and
Well,
I
you
get
well this way
money,
I want you to call the NDC. I want you to
Yep.
complain to them and says I did not get an opportunity, but those people get an opportunity, and if you don't fix it, or you don't give me a proper explanation why I did not get, or you did not allow me to fill out my pink form, well, we can take it to the next level. Open your mouth a little more. The same way that you
Yeah,
call
but-
here, I want you to do that.
right now in the things difficulty because that I tell that I ain't get no credit on them things. I don't even know the number for the NDC or whatever.
Get somebody. You gotta get someone. Talk to them and let them do it for you right away. I don't know where you calling from, Sophia.
Sophia.
They have to be. I'm not sure if Sophia would not have an NDC. That falls under the main city council of Georgetown. Then I could give you a number 226-1875.
1875.
226. That is the Ministry of Public Works. Call them and ask them for the department that deals with the COVID-19 sharing out, and tell them your situation and tell them that you also saw that they made an exception with some people opposite by you, and that you need to know who you could complain to because you believe that they've wrongdealed you. All right?
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. All the best for the year, and I hope that you get a little better. All right?
Yes.
Thank you very much, dear sir. So some very sad stories. People are, while some persons are looking at the $25,000, yes, so thank you very much for that. For many people, it's very, very critical that they receive it because they've been living literally desperation mode for a lot of family there. Good afternoon, Mr. Gildarie. Your love for humanity is overwhelming. I stumbled onto your show just over a month and saddened me to hear that you're leaving. May God continue to guide and protect you. And I hope that you will be, because your voice and insights are needed to Guyana. God continue to bless your heart and soul and stay safe. One love, my brother. Thank you very much. Very warm words. Good afternoon. It's true that the lady said on the Neiman Sandpit on the Esquimalt Coast, husband and wife, both of them get cash money. I want to ask you, ma'am, if you know husband and wife get cash money, what did you do? Did you complain to somebody? Could you get the name of the husband and wife and send it to us so we could be able to pass it to the authorities? Because that happens to be my taxpayers' dollars or wherever it is. The state has to pay for that. And if we have some people that are out there that are so scampish, that are so dishonest, that they would do that, knowing that you would have maybe stopped one family from having access to that $25,000. I need to know because I need to shame you. These are some things we got to start as a people being honest to ourselves too and being fair. We heard many stories like that, and the culprits of the policemen and the other people who would have been involved, because you cannot have these things going on without some kind of complicity coming from the people who were involved in the distribution. You cannot have that. It's impossible. It's illogical that somebody is going to get and there's not some complicity at the level of the policemen and the others there. Policemen are telling the people that we could get you the money, but you got to give us a raise, a $5,000. Who is not eligible and they're getting the $15,000 that they ain't supposed to get. They can take the $15,000. I mean, these are the things you hear it and you know it. Let me see before we go back to the line. Sir, what happened? Jupat bar open again. What did police do? And I fed up. All right. I'm not sure there. Good afternoon, Mr. Leonard and team. Have a good and prosperous new year. I know that the government needs to create jobs for our youth. The Ministry of Social Security, if the name is correct, headed by Mr. Vindya Prasad, should think of opening offices in Tushen, new housing scheme. Not only the having the one in Phoenix Park on the west bank of Demerara. Pensioners from Puerto Rico and way past Wales all have to go there. So if an office can be opened in this big housing scheme, it will be more convenient for the people in Puerto Rico. More employment will be created. Not a great solution is the pension, that old age pension and the NIS pension being paid on the same day. Many times you have to go home without receiving any money because the PM says that the money finished. That is a postmaster or postmistress. We believe that the two pensions should be paid on separate days. We are also asking that a personnel from the ministry be sent to assist in charge of the payment because we have to wait until from 7 p.m. to 2 p.m. to receive the money. We are asking you share our situation with Mr. Vindya. For us, thank you very much for any consideration given to this message. Your concerned pension on behalf of others. God bless you. Sorry to hear tragic death of their mom and dad. Thank you very much. I am going to pass this over to our to the minister, and I think you speak on behalf of a lot of people there who would have been suffering. Let me see. Good afternoon, sir. Myself getting flood. My downstairs flood out. Where is this? I Let me see. You need to give me some more information. Good afternoon, Uncle Leonard. This is Angelina Manny. Angelina Manny, 10 years old, from the West Demerara, the CIA area there. And Happy New Year to your family. And thank you very much, Angelina. Always a good thing to hear from you. Good afternoon, Leonard. I knew of 3 family members in one yard who get the $25,000. I had to fill out the pink form. This is in Region 3. What did you do about that if you knowing that they weren't supposed to get? Did you complain to somebody? Could you get me the names? Could you get me the address so I could pass it on to the authorities? Because we're hearing a lot of these stories. A lot of people have been talking, complaining to us, but nobody has been coming forward with information that I could pass. I've been speaking to some of the people that's in charge of it, and it says if you get the information, we will take action because we're auditing, we're checking back to make sure that the system here is above board. And so I think how the people have found it to be beat, how they beaten the system based on what I'm hearing is that you are as a citizen entitled to receive it. Everybody's supposed to receive it, every family. So they're actually giving it a family. But where it comes in is that if you're supposed to fill the pink form, they're saying, look, we're not going to make you fill the pink form. We're going to give you $25,000, but pass a raise here. That's how we've been told it's happening. But you can't unless you have some kind of evidence. You're not going to hear about it. Do we have a caller there? Good afternoon, caller. You're in the air. Go right ahead.
Yes, good afternoon, Leonard.
Good afternoon, sir.
It's been observed at the human services where men got to go to get this child support thing and all this thing with women and men. Men hardly give a hearing, hardly get a hearing at that particular office, The people up there always bend more to the women's side.
Yes, it is. It is. Is that a natural thing or society how it's been brought up? That they bend towards the women's side?
Yeah, man. And this thing happened a long time. Long time. Okay, thank you, my brother.
Thank you very much. And there you have it. It's always good to hear the other side of things. Let me read back here what this person is saying here. Good afternoon, Mr. Leonard. I have a problem to highlight with the COVID-19 cash grant. I'm living at my mom for some time. I have a family. The people that went to my mom say I cannot get a cash grant because one to a house. No, they did not fill any pink form. The person say I can share, that we can share. Because of that, they can't do anything. What you got to do, you need to fill out a pink form, and if they didn't offer to you, you need to insist that you fill out a pink form. If you have a claim that you have a separate family, get hold of your NDC in your area there, or 226-1875. Let them give you a number where you could talk about the cash grant or complain to somebody that something is not right, and get it, and let me know how that works as well. Very quickly, there's some others there. I want to read a couple of other messages here quickly. Hi, sir. Happy New Year to you and your family. My eye is bleeding. Okay. My eye is bleeding for over 3 years now. I joined the clinic at Georgetown Hospital. The doctor says he will call when he's ready. I'm waiting 1 year now and not hear anything. And now it's affecting my other eye. Can you help me, please? Yes, what you could do, get hold of a clinic there back again, check them out, and I'm gonna ask the Ministry of Health to probably make some announcements as quickly as possible if they have made any um, progress on the re-establishment of the ophthalmology hospital in Berbice there. So maybe that's a hospital that you could be able to, if they haven't started the operations back again. That much I could do. I can't force them to do anything because we don't work with the ministry, we don't work with the government. We try to bridge a gap somewhere. I hope that you get some ease with that. It doesn't sound very good what you're experiencing there. Sir, good day to you, boss, and your boss and your listeners. I wish to raise a point about Eccles Health Center. Now that the center is open around August 2019 with an ECG machine that wasn't working when I joined. Sir, because of all these trick schemes that's causing lots of uncertainty, I would like to suggest the relevant authorities to recheck the serial number of the ECG machine at Eccles Health Center. My next contribution is about tonight's show with Kiana and Anil. I know Kiana is very learned and very well spoken. Nightingale's voice. Could you say sorry if there would be any other hosts along with Kiana? Just hope that you would mention. No, I'm not aware. Kiana is quite capable. Kiana is she knows how to hold herself with regards. We have some very bright people down here at Kaieteur News, and our young reporters have been making us very proud as to how they go about the news. Very passionate, very dogged in their approach to providing the news to the people and the gathering. Because writing the story is one thing; it's gathering the stories that takes a little time. Hi, sir. Good afternoon. Sugar workers at Skeldon say they get paid off. Anything that we could get for the $25,000. I hope they're paying some money to all sugar workers. I don't know if they pay to the people who work only. Well, I think there was some announcement about sugar workers. I hope that they come back and they give you something. Very quickly, do we have a caller on line there? Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Go right ahead.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
What I would like, right?
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Now, they said the principal householder would be the person.
Uh-huh.
Right?
Yes.
Good. Now, if I is the owner for a home, for a house, but I'm not living with this house there. This house out into 4 apartments. I get 2 rooms upstairs, 2 downstairs. I is the owner for the house, but I live in from the East Coast, but I own this house in town, and I rent this house to 4 people down in town. 2 people upstairs, 2 downstairs. I get 4 tenants. And these people come. Who really getting this money for them?
Very good question. And let me answer it this way. Based on the information that I would have gotten, in that case, all the households fill out a pink slip. All the households within that place here. They give it to nobody.
It wouldn't be given to nobody in the living inside it. So
yes, because how do you determine? If it's an apartment building, how do you determine who's the head of that property there?
No, but what I'm saying, for these people is telling, for instance, like Carberstown, right? For instance, like Carberstown. They got one man, a man named Mr. Get must be over 20-something house in Carberstown. That man died, and anybody who control the properties living in it. And they got somebody here who just collect the rent. Now, all them buildings are apartment buildings. Now, you can tell me all them buildings is apartment buildings. All them houses part in 2 rooms upstairs, 2 rooms upstairs, 2 downstairs. Sometimes in 1 yard, you get 4 houses. 4 property in 1 yard.
Yeah.
But all the properties, you get 2 rooms upstairs, 2 downstairs.
Yeah.
So if they come 4 property, right? And 2 upstairs, 2 downstairs. There's 16 apartments, them 4.
16 families, right?
Good. You can tell me that none of them people can get money and all them paying.
Well, that is how they would have put the arrangement, because they had to come up with the conditions on the way to get this. Why the president, I think, I can't speak on behalf of the president. I could only report to you what we know as a newspaper, and what he would have said. They were ready to go to the phase 2 now for those people who would have filled out the pink forms, and those people who did not receive.
And I personally don't feel this thing doing right, but this is my opinion. Because, for instance, if
what was a good model according to you that they should have done this? This is something.
Listen. If the owner for the house, living in the house, right? Living upstairs and renting out the downstairs.
Right.
Good. I personally feel that the tenants more in need of that money more than the owner. As the owner collecting rent, the tenants downstairs got to find money to pay the owner. So when you give the money to the owner, the rent, that own the house, you give them the 25,000. and the tenants is not receiving anything, it means it's confusion on the tenants because the tenants got a commitment, they got to find money to pay the owner for this house.
Not necessarily. I don't agree with you there. Let me explain to you why.
The tenants should have been getting the money because the tenants got to pay rent.
I follow your argument there, and that may be a case, but you cannot speak on behalf of all landlords, because I know some landlords and landladies would have mortgaged themselves.
The tenant is more in need because the tenant...
No, you can't say that. That's not logical what you're saying there. Let me tell you why. I know of landlords that live in even in worse conditions than some tenants, because they have mortgaged themselves to the hilt to build this property here, and they depend, just like how you depend on your salary, on that rent that is being paid to pay the banks back. So it might not necessarily follow. What I agree with you on the other stuff, which is the whole conditions and how they went about it, some of the criteria and so on. And we learn in this. Remember, they haven't really issued any statement out as to how they're going. They don't even tell you when they come into the communities. That's because of security issues.
And I believe what I feel they should do, as far as I'm concerned, I believe, to me, own opinion, right? I feel if you helping the nation because we're in a crisis, I feel everybody should get money. Because
I agree with you.
Everybody got a need, buddy. Everybody got a need. I mightn't be a house owner, but I got a need. I got children, I got mouths to feed. Everybody got a need.
Right, I agree with you.
I feel that they give them money. Don't just look at principal owners of your house and them kind. They give everybody, because everybody in this country got a need. All of you going through the same crisis. There's a COVID crisis, and everybody's facing the gun. Nobody's not escaping it.
I agree with you.
Everybody should get a chance to get a smart piece that they're going to help themselves.
I agree with you, and I take those points, very important points, sir. Unfortunately, we're down to program time, so thank you for coming through, and all the best for the new year.
Okay.
Thank you very much. And a very important point there, the taxpayers' money, we should not differentiate. The conditions should be that everybody not discriminate in their distribution. Of course, when you have dishonest people, like some of the things that we hear, and now these some politicians would tell you it's all anecdotal, meaning it's all the stories until you could make a complaint, and they could investigate those complaints. People are not coming forward. They know that Raj and W.R. Riaz and so got 3 people living in the house. I'm just calling these names. These are my friends. I can't bad talk them like that. But you're hearing stories. You're hearing a lot of anecdotes, but nobody's coming forward and think it. We need people who happen to know a couple of people who would have been not entitled to collect the money but did collect. We need people to come forward and talk about it. Unfortunately, it's time to say goodbye right now. It's the Wake Up Guyana show right here on Kaieteur Radio. Your host, Leonard Gildarie. If you've missed this show, you could get us back on Kaieteur Radio on Facebook or Kaieteur Radio live stream on YouTube. We would have been coming to you live on 99.1 in Essequibo and Demerara, and if you're in Berbice, it's 99.5. Unfortunately, it's come down to that time of the day when we say goodbye. I want to say thank you, everybody who've joined in. I hope it has been uplifting to your spirit. If you joined us from overseas, as always, thank you very much. Your support means a lot to us, and it's always good to talk and to communicate, and for us to have this kind of exchange for people, for the betterment of Guyana and the world. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant rest of the day. Until tomorrow, same place, same time.